Catching. That was my main thing, catching. I wanted to get better at catching.
How'd you work on that? Any specific drills you were?
No, it's a mind thing. It's a mind thing to me.
Is that just mental reps then? Like you're just playing those out in your mind?
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah. You catch everything?
So funny, I see my first Waymo car today. So shout out to J-Mo. They asked J-Mo, what you been working? He said he been working on catching. And basically when he said he just been mentally doing mental reps, basically he believed the balls that he dropping, no Diddy, no Harvey Weinstein, no Kanye. He basically said he believed that, it's concentration. And like I said, when he less than 200 pounds going over that middle, St. Brown built to go over the middle. He compact, but you built going over that middle, bruh. Keep it real. Boy, oh boy, if you ain't never put a helmet on, you ain't got no peripheral, so you got to keep your head on the swivel to keep it real. So this is concentration. I'm pretty sure he probably got some reps on the jug machine and catching at different angles and, all that type of stuff. But, it talks about them being the best receiver duo in the league. I would say no. I like Addison and Jefferson with a comparable quarterback. They really close to us, but CD Lamb and George Pickens. Is George Pickens still with the Cowboys? I really don't care much for CD Scam, but I like Pickens. But they up there. Chase and T. Higgins is number one, in my opinion. And I'm objective. Who else you got? Kansas City, no. I'm gonna go through all the names in my head. So Green Bay, no. I talk about Christian Watson towards the end if I remember. So Chicago, no. I do like they tight end though from Michigan. Was he Loveland? Minnesota, they up there. They pretty close to us. If not above us, I'd make that. The Saints, Olave always hurt. Tampa. Is that Emeka Buka over there? What's the other one? Yeah, he nice. Damn, who? Carolina, no. Who else you got in there? New Orleans, Tampa, Atlanta. I like Drake London, but I don't know who else they got. I always forget that last team in the NFC South. Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina. Damn, who is that last team? Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina. I always forget that last team. Man, they must be sorry than the motherfucker. New Orleans, Tampa, Carolina. New Orleans, Tampa. Oh, Atlanta. I said Atlanta. So NFC, the Eagles, they lost AJ Brown. So they got the other kid from USC. I heard he's pretty good. I haven't seen him play. So I'm not tripping. So I don't think they there yet. Washington, they got rid of Debo. I don't know who I like Terry McLaurin, even though he went to Ohio State, but he a beast. Damn, who else you got in the mix? The Giants, they coming, but no. Giants, Cowboys up there. Eagles, Skins, or Commanders. I like the football team better. And then you go to the NFC West. The 49ers, no. I hate people driving next to semi-trucks and get scared, bro. Like, come on, pick it up. You can't be scared. You got to go past them or get behind them so I can go past them. But the Rams, Adams, and Cup, yup, they up there with us, with the other four I named: Minnesota, Detroit, Dallas. The Eagles, I'm not the Eagles, but the Seahawks with Jesse Smith and Jigba. They got rid of DK, didn't they? I don't know who else they got, but he a motherfucking beast. Arizona, no. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, I believe they number one. He finally got the balls to go past him. So we can't be, there you go. The Steelers, no. The Ravens, no. The Browns, no. The Texans, no. The Jaguars, they ain't traded Brian Thomas yet. Yeah, it's getting wild out here. It's getting wild. The Colts, no. The Bills, no. Somebody smoking weed. The Bills, no. The Jets, no. New England, no. They got AJ, but the Dolphins, no. The Chiefs, no. The Broncos, no. The Chargers, Ladd McConkey ain't show up last year, so no. And the Raiders, no. So yeah, I would say Cincinnati, 1. And then after that, you know, I would maybe say we in the conversation with Dallas and you know, with Minnesota. We right there, you know. And I would say number 2 is the Rams, and then we in that next conversation with the rest of them. But yeah, J-Mo, but yeah, man, yeah, he gotta catch the ball better, man. And you know, they just nobody been able to get J-Mo going. I think Dan Campbell had the most success. Remember, Ben Johnson was complaining about him. John Morton couldn't get him going. Dan Campbell had the most success getting him the football consistently that second half of the year. So ultimately, it's just him and Goff don't click. Right away, he kind of was sneak dissing Goff, talking about Lamar. They just don't click. Him and Goff, you know, it just don't click. So hopefully, through the years, they can click. And you know, through the years, they finally find a rapport with Drew Petzing. But right now, they don't click, in my opinion. They don't click. So last year, they was clicking. When all the receivers got injured, they had to depend on J-Mo. They got him the ball. So now it's up to Goff to get him the football. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he got to make those concentration catches, and he got to be a lot better. But yeah, I mean, shit, it is what it is. But talking about Christian Watson, he got a contract, and always injured, but he was a guy that the Lions were thinking about drafting. And, you know, he did a great job catching the ball down the field when he healthy. A big 6'4", fast receiver, but he ain't done nothing. But they let the other receiver I like over there, the Romeo Dobbs, he went somewhere else. And, you know, so for the most part, they're going to ride with him, Jaden Reed, and the other little guy they had. And Watson just always got soft tissue injuries, and he got rewarded. Probably some language in there for, you know, the little bit he did do. So it's going to be interesting this year, the Packers. You know, also talks about Micah Parsons' injury has been, you know, settling back. So he got in, you know, the ACL. He may not be back to October. Then that injury happened late in the year. You know, you don't want to rush it. You know, by the time he get back, it's going to be interesting playing in that cold. Yeah, that shit hurt a little bit more in that cold rather than being in Dallas and being on that turf a little bit and indoors. So we'll see what happens with that. So, but ultimately, yeah, J-Mo got to do better catching the ball, but also, you know, Goff and him, you know, and Drew Petzing got to find a way to get him the football. It just can't be go routes, sluggo routes, stop and go routes, you know, deep routes. They got to find a way to get him the football in a multitude of ways, not just end arounds and stuff of that nature. So we'll see what it is. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.